What's your take on what's going to happen in the industry after we get through this, quote unquote, through it? Are we going to stick in an environment where supply is so short that we are going to see additional dealer markups? Do you think Schumachers of the world and the Dave B's of the world are actually going to, quote unquote, win in the long term because they weren't hosing people? What's your stance on what you see happening from your perspective?
I think that when you charge that much over, like on that Mercedes, like obviously there's a reason for that. Either they want that car there, or they're just going to, they're gambling to see if someone's actually willing to do it. I can't imagine they would actually think they can sell it for that, but maybe they will. I don't think that charging over MSRP is necessarily a bad thing. If you think about my entire career here, 17 years in the automotive industry, obviously customers think it's a bad thing, but it's the times we're in. And like, I can't tell you how many customers I've talked to where I've kind of talked them out of buying a car. Let's see if you hold out a little bit and do the right thing for them. This way, you're keeping that relationship intact. The majority of the cars I'm selling that are new are my previous customers that have bought cars from me over and over that understand, like, yeah, I've been buying cars at invoice or under for 10, 15 years. This one, I get it. I'm paying $2,000 over. I'm paying $3,000 over. So it's sort of what I've been seeing. The Corvettes are interesting. We've done them all at MSRP. As far as factory orders, everything's been special ordered. I had a customer that picked up his from me about 2 months later with 200 miles on it. Somebody in the parking lot offered him $30,000 more. He sold it.
Wow.
So that premium on that Corvette is easily attainable, for that dealer charging 50 over.
Have you heard anything from Chevy themselves as to when they think they might be able to get back to relatively normal inventory levels?
Not directly, I have not. No.
Okay.
We're hoping sometime in the spring, that sort of thing. We're getting backlogged. So like Tahoes and Suburbans, for instance, we're backlogged. Maybe 17. I think I got 17 or 20 Suburbans on order. Same with Tahoe. So people that are buying cars now that are picking them up that are coming in ordered them 3 or 4 months ago. So we're now going to see that in January. If you're looking to buy a car, those cars arriving are going to be the ones that were bought now. So there's just a little bit of a delay until, I guess, GM or manufacturers can really ramp that up and start churning vehicles out.
Back on the YAA website, we updated this just today. This is the big story here. Wholesale prices are up actually closer to 42% from the beginning of the year. And one thing that I found pretty interesting is that retail prices are trailing, and so they're not increasing nearly as fast as the wholesale prices. But you've got to imagine as wholesale prices continue to go up like they are, retail prices will follow.
Well, retail prices will always follow. I mean, if the dealerships have to pay more to get their used car inventory, ultimately the consumer is going to end up paying more because, the dealership needs to make a certain margin on their used cars that they sell. So if their cost goes up, the retail price ultimately, eventually will go up as well. But it's just amazing that we had another week with almost a 1 point increase in wholesale values that dealers are paying at the auction. I keep saying this isn't sustainable, but yet it just keeps happening. So perhaps it is sustainable. I don't know.
And what was really fascinating was breaking it down by different types of vehicles. So compact cars and mid-sized cars are up well over a point. And then we actually saw on the truck and SUV side, still those compact luxury crossover SUVs and just the compact vehicles in general are just moving so quickly. And these damn vans, guys. Vans would have been the thing to have invested in, I think, better than Bitcoin or Dogecoin or Dadcoin. It's vans. We should have been investing in vans. Do you guys move any of those at the dealership, Dave?
No, very, very, very few. It's almost like Chevy got out of the van market for cargo vans. You don't see too many express vans out there.
Yeah, you really don't anymore. But they're big into the truck market, and SUV market.
So I've got one final question that I want to toss out to you, Dave, and then I make the Booker joke often. But on the trajectory that you're on, you will have a Booker as well, and I can't wait to have to reach out to your Booker. We got some news just the other day from GM's North America CEO saying that some of the vehicles that they had produced that were partially completed were just starting to get fully completed. And sent off to dealerships. And the gentleman was quoted as saying, "We're not sending partially completed vehicles to our dealerships and asking them to install the final chips, in modules to get to market," which is, I think we all agree, for the better. When do you anticipate, you mentioned earlier a little bit into the spring, when do you anticipate inventory coming back and the model year flip from 2021s and 2022s to 2023s? Do you have any expectations from when you're at your dealership, at Schumacher, if anyone, 350 people on here, if they're in the North Jersey area, if they're going to buy a Chevy, when should they be contacting?
I would say the sooner the better. Most of what we have inbound, even the 21s like Traverses and Silverados that are waiting for chips, we already have sold. A lot of the stuff has been sold as an inbound unit. I have 9 Tahoes that should be here. 8 of them are sold. We have 1 available. The Silverados I mentioned earlier have all just showed up within the last week. So that may have been, things that were kind of on the lot. I wasn't here yesterday, but I saw in the back, it looks like we got our first 22 Silverado in yesterday as well. So I think the flip is already starting to happen if it didn't already. We've had a number of 22 Equinoxes. We're waiting for Traverse. I think they're going to start building those now. So hopefully we'll start seeing those by like December into January. But there's not going to be a leftover season this year. Obviously, nothing like that. The inventory is going to be pretty dry for a while. In my personal opinion, I would say probably about maybe 5 to 6 months from now. Hopefully, we'll start seeing things bounce back a little bit more, where I'll have more than 13 cars out on the lot.
Let's hope. Have you seen anything incentive wise? Is Chevy doing anything in consumer incentives? I mean, I realize they have no cars to sell, but are they incentivizing the ones that they do have?
A little bit, not as much as they normally do. They definitely pulled back on that, but we have like Costco's a very popular store around here, so they have their Costco incentive like they always do every holiday season and all. So there's some stuff out there. There's some 0% stuff out there. It's just a matter of finding the right vehicle. Finding a vehicle to apply it to.
Dave, if people are new to learn about you, where can they find out more and follow you?
Basically, YouTube or Instagram, Dave B Sells Chevy.